Welcome to Patriots Day in Arlington 2022. Now, there is no parade this year due to this wretched pandemic. However, it's a sunny day. People are out in front of Town Hall. We have Dell's lemonade. We have a lot of popcorn. And in just a few minutes, we're going to have a 287-year-old Paul Revere and a 277-year-old William Dawes Jr. riding by on the way to Lexington, Concord to warn the people that indeed those regulars are coming. Roughly 500 people turned out on this magnificent sunny day to greet two of America's favorite sons. 247 years after Paul Revere and William Dawes galloped down what is now Mass Ave to warn residents that the dreaded regulars were marching to Lexington and Concord with the intention of seizing a cache of weapons and supplies, and also likely taking John Hancock and Samuel Adams prisoner. That pair was hanging out in nearby Lexington that very night. That's pretty cheeky of the Brits if you ask us. But before we get to that and greet our heroes, the Arlington townsfolk fuel themselves with popcorn and lemonade in the year of our Lord 2022 and recall the tale of that blustery April night more than 2 centuries ago, a night that changed everything, a night that the village of Menotomy, now modern-day Arlington, can share with the world.
And sometimes we become the little brother or little sister of our neighboring towns in Concord and Lexington. But in the past couple of years, we've really done a lot of work to restore some of our historical treasures to help try to generate some a buzz around the Arlington and get people visiting in town and certainly patronizing our businesses, but seeing the history that Arlington has. And even for a lot of residents that live here, they don't know everything that Arlington has to offer from a historical standpoint. And it's good to have events like this that help highlight that.
It was a great day in our history, and now everybody's a beautiful day and everybody's celebrating.
It's really nice and I like it.
What do you like so much about it?
I love horses.
Paul Revere would be 287 years old. William Dawes would be 277, and you're about to see them.
Wow, I can't believe this. It's like really fun, yeah.
What's the best part you enjoy?
I don't know, I just like being out.
I'll bet. How about you?
I really like the scavenger hunt and all the activities to do.
You think it's really cool that Paul Revere and William Dawes are going to show up here?
Yeah, really cool.
How about you? What do you think?
I like all the animals. I literally love art and crafts. I am a goddess. I love my life.
Everyone here can relate. With the sun splashing down on this glorious day, these Americans celebrate our patriotic ancestors with a star-spangled fervor and intensity.
Since coming up from the pandemic, where this event has not happened the past 2 years, it's great to have so many people return to the town hall to greet Paul Revere, to greet William Dawes on their ride. And it's, cities like Medford are doing it as well. There are events happening all across this corridor.
And that includes Concord, the end of the line. Revere and Dawes' primary objective was to contact Samuel Adams and John Hancock in Lexington, roughly 4 miles away from here, from Concord, where I am. It appeared they were given a fairly specific message, probably a written message, to deliver to the Patriot leaders. Now, in addition, the two riders were to alarm the countryside in villages like Menotomy, modern-day Arlington, on their way to deliver the crucial information to Hancock and Adams. A third objective was also certainly to continue on to Concord here to verify that the colony stores, provisions, powder, ammunition, and cannon for the Massachusetts militia were safely dispersed and hidden.
But here in Arlington, because of the first battle and the history of Menotomy, it makes this day even more special.
We couldn't agree more. And unlike that fabled midnight ride, our rider cantered into the village of Menotomy at high noon to alert men, women, and children alike that King George III's scallywags could not be far behind.
Welcome on to this step, William Dawes from Roxbury, Cambridge. We should be riding through the town now. Hi, I'm William Dawes. Hey, Paul Revere.
Riding's been very hard.
I left Charlestown soon after 11, and I've been riding hard ever since. We believe they're headed for Concord and our military supplies. We'll be spurring on to Lexington, but first, I want to warn you people of the troop movement to Boston. Grab your muskets! Prepare! Hey, we want to thank you all for coming out today. Lord knows we missed you. It's been a couple of years. Glad you're all here. Glad you didn't forget about us.
Even a prolonged pandemic couldn't make us forget.
We couldn't wait to do it. It's been a long 2 years.
And now you're Paul Revere?
I'm Paul Revere.
Paul, you're 287 years old.
I am, yeah.
You look good,
Don't
man.
I? Thank you. It's the oats.
How's the ride today with the weather?
Oh, it's been great weather. This is a perfect weather. Perfect. Look at all this turnout everywhere we went. Great turnout. It's so good to get it back into history and teach the people about what happened.
How proud are you to be part of such a historical town, first of all, representing what was a seminal moment in our history?
Very proud, and part of our duty as Menotomy Minutemen is to remind everyone, people in Arlington and the worldwide, how overlooked Menotomy was during the day, because it's the Battle of Lexington and Concord, and more fatalities on both sides happened here in Menotomy than in Lexington and Concord, and people tend to forget that.
Yeah, I think it's definitely important for especially folks in Arlington and Arlington and Massachusetts and the world in general. Remember what we did here and how we stood up against the most mightiest army in the world. I mean, people fear them, and here we are, just townsfolk with our followers and contraband weapons, taking them on, doing pot shots at them.
And those pot shots peppered the Brits because of sound 18th century military intel. Meantime, with the luxury of 21st century information gathering, ACMi tried warning Paul that danger loomed roughly 6 miles to our west-northwest in Lincoln, Mass. Can I give you a little warning? You're going to be arrested a few miles from here. How do you feel about that?
I'm not going to get caught. They won't know. I'm going to sneak. I'm going to sneak right by them.
All right, don't say we didn't warn you. But to be fair, Paul, Bill, and other riders prepared for such an eventuality. The fact that they might be halted at any point was assumed by both Paul Revere and William Dawes Jr., as they were well aware British officers were patrolling the roads that night for the specific purpose of intercepting messengers like themselves. Indeed, this is the spot where Paul Revere was detained by British soldiers, along with William Dawes and another rider that night by the name of Samuel Prescott. Now, Revere was detained by the British, but Prescott and Dawes, they managed to slip away into the darkness of night and continue on with their mission. The alarm system devised by the Patriots and set in motion by Paul Revere and William Dawes weeks before was specifically designed to ensure that the capture of any one rider would not prevent the alarm from being sounded. The mission was simply too important and great to leave to one rider alone, even one as experienced and trustworthy as Paul Revere.
Then I might fall off my horse or something.
Safe travels, Paul. Good to see you again.
Thank you. You too. Thank you.
One by land, two by sea. They planned it all out weeks ahead. We had our company ourselves were only formed about 2 weeks before the events on April 19th, but other towns were well organized, well ahead of that, from being organized and trained way better than our townsfolk were trained at the time.
'Tis all very well for the children to hear of a midnight ride of Paul Revere, but why should my name be quite forgot? Who rode as boldly and well, God wot?
After a bit of poetic byplay with the Menotomy crowd, Dawes and Revere were off to the next village, riding down Mass Ave, and ultimately into history. Their mission obviously was accomplished. Then came the shot heard round the world about 0.6 of a mile from here, and it was game on. The redcoats were exhausted, tired, incredibly angry as the colonials put up a very impressive fight. The lobsterbacks began retreating from Lexington, Concord, towards Boston, once again traipsing through the village of Menotomy. Then they came upon the Jason Russell House on Mass Ave, and, well, that's another story. For ACMi News, I'm Jeff Barnes.